Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In this tutorial, we're looking at another form request, and this particular request was to add the PIP effect to a selected event. But not only that, at the end, we would really like to check to see, was the PIP effect already there? If it was, then instead of adding it, we're not going to add a new one. And at the end, we wanted to open the FX Dialog. So that's a new thing we haven't looked at yet. So let's see if we can do that. So here's the script we're looking at. Once again, same thing we've been doing for the past several weeks. For each track, my track, and myvegas.project.tracks. Once again, because we're looking at the PIP effect, we're going to check to see, is this a video track? Because if it's an audio track, we don't need to do anything. So for each track event in mytrack.events, if that event is selected, first thing I'm going to do is get the video event for that event, which we also had to do when we were adding the alpha channel. So we get video event is now of type video event from event. Then we're going to define the plugin unique ID that we're looking for. If you go back to way back when we first started, we had the read GUI ID script that we created that gets us the list of all of these. And so I just pulled this from that list. So we're looking specifically for the effect that has this unique ID. And then I'm going to add me a variable that says, was the PIP found? And I'm going to set that to false by default. Now I'm going to go through each effect, which I'm calling EFF, in the video event.effects. If the effect.plugin.uniqueID equals the plugin ID we specified up here, then pip found equals true, and I'm going to break out of this for each loop. Now, if the pip was not found, what I want to do is get the plugin node called FX, which is myvegas.videoFX, and then I'm going to get the plugin known plugin, which comes from fx.getChildByUniqueID, and we're using the unique ID that we specified up above. Now I need to get the actual effect, which I get from effect equals new effect, and from that plugin that I just defined. Then the video event.effects.add, and we're going to add that effect to that video event. Then I'm going to get the OFX effect, which I called OFX, from effect.OFX effect, and now we can change the X and Y parameter. So I had to go through and look to see what the parameters were. To get these names, we need to go through the list of parameters that are available to us in this effect. So let's add some quick code here to determine what the parameters are that we can look at. So let's add this little bit of code here, and this is going to pop up a message box that tells us every parameter's name, label, and its type. And when we run this, we can see, first of all, we have location, which is a double 2D, angle, which is a double, scale, which is labeled as scale in X, which is a double, distortion, scale Y, which is labeled scale in Y, which is a double, key proportions, which is labeled mode, which is a choice, and distortion shear, which is labeled shear, which is a double, distortion homography, which is labeled distortion homography, which is a custom. And then we have distortion HG location, which is a double 2D, distortion HG size, double 2D, opacity, which is a double, corner lock, which is a Boolean, and we have corner points, which is a group. So this is a group that has multiple entries in it. Corner top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, And so you can see here, the ones that we're wanting to change were scale in X, which is this one, and scale in Y. And so those were labeled scale and distortion scale Y. In this particular case, I know that the X value is scale. And we wanted to set that back to x.value equals 1.0. For the PIP effect, unless you've changed something, the X and the Y values are going to be the same. So technically, the next line does not need to be done, but we went ahead and threw it in here anyway. And it's also an OFX double parameter, which is Y, and we're getting that from OFX, and the name is distortion scale Y. And then we're setting that value to 1. And then down below, whether or not we create this new effect, we're going to call event.openVideoEffectUI. This is a new line we've not seen before. What this will actually do is open up the window that shows you the video effects so that you can adjust their values. So let's give this a try and see what happens. So let's just select this event right here, and we'll run the script. And we can see that the video effect FX window opened here. The X value is set to 1, and the Y value is also set to 1. Like I said, we technically did not have to change that one, because when you change this one, it changes both of them. And you can see as I change this, the window is changing as well. So now, the effect is already on this. Let's see what happens when we run it a second time. Now you can see we have the picture-in-picture effect is added, but it is only added once. It did not add it the second time. And if I went in and actually changed these values, and I run the script another time, it opens the window, but it did not reset these values because the effect was already there. So if you had the same effect that you were adding over and over again, this is an easy way to get it added to any selected event that you have. The cool thing is, the new thing, is that we are actually opening the FX window where we could adjust the settings. And so that is a really new thing that we haven't ever looked at before. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.